today. We're here at St James the Great Church in Hanslope, and this is where the story today ends. And we're looking for the grave of Alex McKay, a champion Scottish prize fighter who died in 1830.
In the 18th to 19th century, long before boxing gloves, medical checks or referees, there was prize fighting. The boxer George Stevenson had died a few days after his 35-minute fight with the English champion Jack Broughton in 1741, an event that triggered Broughton to draw up a set of rules with the help of some of his patrons to prevent a recurrence. Despite this, it was still bare-knuckle, brutal, and it was considered illegal under the terms of the Riot Act of 1715. Despite this, it was loved by labourers, aristocrats, royal princes, and even King George IV, who had asked Gentleman Jackson and the country's leading fighters to act as pages at his coronation in 1821. In 1830, Simon Byrne, the Irish champion, was matched against Alexander McKay, the champion of Scotland. The stakes, £100 a side. A fortune for the fighters, but pocket change for the wealthy patrons who bet on them. The match was arranged at the Castle Tavern in Holborn, overseen by the then legends of the ring, Gentleman Jackson, Tom Cribb and Tom Spring.
Behind me is the Watts Arms in Hanslope. It was here on June 2nd, 1830 that the fight between Simon Byrne, the Emerald Gem from Ireland, and Alex McKay, the Highland Hercules from Scotland, was due to take place. Prize fighting was illegal under the Riot Act, and Thomas Evans, the parish constable, was called by the grand-sounding High Constable of Stony Stratford and Newport Pagnell to prevent the fight. The story is that McKay was smuggled out through the bar window while the constable's attention was diverted by Rosamond D, the landlord's niece, who came downstairs and out of the front door of the inn wearing a kilt. It was not uncommon for fights to be moved at the last minute to avoid the authorities, and on the 2nd of June 1830 a large crowd gathered just down the road at Salsey Green to watch the fight.
The ring was drawn in an open field. Thousands surrounded it, gentry in carriages, locals on foot, bookmakers shouting odds. McKay and Byrne stepped forward, bare-fisted, stripped to the waist. The sport was brutal. Rounds ended only when a man fell. Fighters had 30 seconds to stand and return to the scratch, the centre of the ring, or lose. Wrestling, gouging and body slams were common. The fight was savage and stretched to 47 rounds, a brutal marathon by any standard. By the final rounds, McKay was exhausted, battered and barely able to stand. When he finally collapsed and could not be brought to the scratch, Byrne was declared the winner. But victory came at a terrible cost.
Constable Evans described the end. In the last 3 or 4 rounds, the man called McKay appeared very much beat. In the last round, McKay was knocked down or fell down. Did not exactly notice what occasioned the fall. He appeared quite helpless and could not stand. McKay was attended by Mr. James Haycake, a surgeon living in Hanslope. He bled McKay, then had him taken back to here, the Watts Arms. Alexander McKay died the next day at 9 o'clock in the evening. He was 26 years old. He died of brain damage, which was probably not helped by the very rough road back to Hanslope in the cart, or by being carried up the inn's narrow staircase feet first. You can only hope the doctor took better care of his other patients.
McKay's death attracted widespread publicity and led to rioting in the streets of his homeland. In Dundee, 3 people died and 200 were injured. Byrne was arrested and tried for manslaughter. He was incarcerated in Buckingham Jail to await his trial and the prospect of the gallows. The trial was held at the assizes in the small rural town of Buckingham. More used to the trials of local poachers and sheep thieves, Buckingham had never before seen such a spectacle. The support received by Byrne at his trial is testimony to the wealth of his backers. Byrne was represented by 3 barristers and 5 solicitors, and 12 witnesses journeyed from London to give evidence on his behalf. He was acquitted. In May 1833, Byrne faced James Burke for the vacant championship of England. Burke was younger, powerful and ruthless. The fight would become one of the longest ever recorded, 99 rounds lasting 3 hours and 6 minutes. By the 49th round, Byrne's hands were so swollen that he was unable to deliver an effective blow. By the final round, Byrne was barely conscious. His seconds carried him to the line, desperate to keep him in the fight. But the punishment was too great. When he finally collapsed for the last time, the fight was over. 3 years to the day from his fight with Alex McKay, on the 2nd of June 1833, Simon Byrne died from brain injuries sustained in the ring. He was 27 years old. Burke was arrested and tried for manslaughter, but like Byrne before him, he was acquitted. The Watts Arms today is a cosy little village pub. On a wall towards the back, by the pool table, is this plaque about the fateful fight in 1830. Alex McKay is buried in the churchyard of St James the Great in Hanslope.
Oh, I bet it's you, isn't it, Mr. Blackbird? It was leading me to the right one. That looks about right. This is the one. Difficult to make out, but this is the gravestone. Oh, Alex McKay, found it. Now written on this, which you can't see because it's partly buried, is a verse which goes along the lines of: "Strong and athletic was my frame, far from my native home I came, and bravely fought with Simon Byrne, alas but never to return. Stranger, take warning from my fate, lest you should rue your case too late. If you have ever fought before, determine now to fight no more."